Greetings. Greetings. Notes. I'll do it this way. Hold the cord in my hand. I look like Jesus. Fairly unmistakable fact. Although my mother is not a virgin. Another thing, actually, is that I technically speaking, don't look like Jesus. According to what you might have been raised to believe, with European art and Western film, Jesus was not a pasty white guy with a Shakespearean accent. Based on the part of the world where Jesus came from, most historians would agree, Jesus had more of an olive tone going to him, or as we say in America, terrorist face. So if you're currently right now waiting for Jesus to show up and rescue you, I'm sorry, he's currently being strip searched down at LAX by a TSA agent. You can see the scene right now, going through his bags. Oh, what is this right here? Frankincense and myrrh? You goddamn hippie. Oh, and some gold. Haven't you heard of 1971, buddy? You goddamn gold standard terrorist hippie. Get out of my airport. I actually do find it kind of funny, that the appearance of Jesus, the way he looks and whatnot. A lot of the people, that do fervently believe in Jesus, the evangelicals or the religious right, what Jesus looks like, he looks like everything that they don't want their children to look like. The long hair, the long beard, he wears sandals. He goes out in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights, doesn't tell anybody he has a conversation with the devil. It's a great example for many evangelical, parents out there. I can see them talking to their son right now. Why don't you cut your hair? You're starting to look like one of those kids that just hangs out at the mall. Oh, I'm sorry, Father. I was just trying to look like the Son of God. Art thou not pleased? That one, I will tell you, did actually not work with my own father. He still made me cut my hair, which is why I have this current appearance at 30 years old. I've actually read through the Bible many times. I did grow up an evangelical Christian. And even though, I was very much a committed part of the church, as a teenager, I still pretty much thought about sex all the time. Very curious about what it was. I'm 13 years old. I'm sitting there thinking, what is it going to be like when I lose my virginity? So throughout all these sermons and whatnot, I finally came across my great answer. It came in the book of Song of Solomon. For those of you who do not know the Bible, the best way I can sum up the book of Song of Solomon is Old Testament Jewish love poetry. I finally had my questions answered as to what my first night would look like in the Bible. I give to you Song of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 1. I might have to read this one here. I have come into the garden, my sister, my bride. I have gathered my spice and my myrrh. I have eaten my honey and my honeycomb. I have drunk my wine and my milk. So there I was, in the middle of a sermon, thinking to myself, oh, that's what it's going to be like. My blushing bride and I on our wedding night, feeding each other honey, dousing each other with fragrant spices, drinking a rich bottle of red wine, accompanied with a 64-ounce mason jar filled with California's finest cow juice. I can see it now, the love, the passion, the uncontrollable vomiting that takes place after the second thrust, because drinking wine and milk before lovemaking is the worst idea I've ever heard of. Oh yes, it is true, it is in the Bible. Let me just kind of go through this here now. Ah yes, bad combination, wine and milk. Also a bad combination is thinking that all women are bulimic and then saying it out loud. All women are bulimic. Back to the notes. Ah yes. I've also been told I kind of look like Abraham Lincoln if he had been on a 6-month psychedelic mushroom trip. 407 Pink Floyd albums ago, our forefathers brought forth upon these melting walls a great nation, red, dark and vibrating like the letters on these pages. If only that actually happened. I've also been told that I look like a slightly happier Charles Manson. Although if I were Charles Manson, I would not have chosen the Beatles' Helter Skelter to get completely obsessed with. I'm a little more of a relaxed guy, I suppose, a mellow person, and I would have chosen something from the library of perhaps Simon and Garfunkel. I would have gone with Scarborough Fair, which, if you don't know, sings of parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. I would have formed a cult, and around this cult we would all sit in a room together and we would listen to the chorus of this one song over and over again. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. And we would go mad with the greatest recipe for organic Italian dressing we'd ever known. Charles Manson would have beaten Paul Newman to the market of organic salad dressings like that. Fuck you, Paul Newman. It's Charles Manson's organic Italian dressing. It was that close for Charles Manson if he had only chosen a different song, and now he's in jail for killing people. Perhaps it would have been a nice little, salad dressing on your, family kitchen table with a smiling picture of Charles Manson, perhaps conveniently located to your candy dish. I don't know. Speaking of candy dishes, anyone here like Tootsie Rolls growing up as a child? Tootsie Roll fans? Yes, it's great, terrific. I myself was actually not the biggest fan of chocolate, so I actually went towards the lesser-known vanilla Tootsie Roll. Anyone know that? There's a vanilla Tootsie Roll. Very hard to find. They actually sold it in a variety pack of a bunch of other, Tootsie Rolls, like vanilla and various fruit-flavored ones. It wasn't like the chocolate Tootsie Roll. You can find that anywhere, at the checkout aisle at your grocery store. They sold it in the, little, variety, this little, sample pack here. Have a few and pop them. They even sold it in this, giant 3-foot-long Tootsie Roll turd. Satisfy your mouth for 3 hours on end eating a Tootsie Roll. But not the vanilla ones. They were segregated. They were the lowest of the class in the Tootsie Roll caste system. I feel sorry for the Tootsie Roll family right now as Junior goes to Dad. Dad, am I gonna grow up to be a chocolate Tootsie Roll? No, goddammit, son, I told you! You were born a lemon, you're gonna stay a lemon! Look at me, born a vanilla. Oh no, God, your mother, born an orange. It's awful being in the lower caste system of the Tootsie Rolls. I have worked as a barista for the past 4.5 years. And I will never understand why people would get up at 6 in the morning and order a large soy-blended soy chai mocha. If you don't know this, all that chai mocha powder is pretty much just loads of flavored sugar, along with your soy milk, which is just estrogen-rich, genetically grown soy. So I think to myself, yeah, sure, buddy, I'll make you a giant frothing and man boobs with a side of type 2 diabetes 12 years from now. You're a real fucking champion. I get up at 6 in the morning, I feel great about myself. I'm gonna give me just a big fucking load of type 2 diabetes. I'm gonna sit outside. I'm gonna get that raise I finally deserve. But not before I dip my ham and cheese croissant in my large soy blended chai vanilla mocha. You're a champion. Go outside and look at that sunset and dream of places you'll never visit. Ooh. Of course, on the other end is just the absolute coffee snobs who will drink their cups of espresso and think to themselves, wow, this espresso is everything I wish my mother was to me when I was a child. The popping sensation of boysenberry is like when I used to pop bubble wrap. And mother hated it so. They should just include cock in the flavor profile of coffee and get it over with. Hey Gary, how's that cup of coffee? Tastes like cock. Brazilian cock. And that is how I'm gonna end it.
Dixson! Give a nice round of applause. We've come to our final act from the class.